Hello everyone, welcome back to Kenspire Business Mantra and welcome to yet another interesting episode, all important episode number 21 on statutory compliances. Friends, in this episode, we will be decoding the approach what an entrepreneur should take towards handling and managing statutory compliances. We will not be getting into the nitty gritties of the various tax laws and enactments and things like that. We'll only be talking about managing the statutory compliances. For the purpose of this episode, we'll be let's take commonly applicable aspects like GST, income tax, TDS under the income tax, TCS, then you have PF, ESI, Factories Act, Workmen's Compensation Act, then you have Companies Act if you are a private limited company or a public limited company, and so on and so forth. So the first thing to do is to get expert opinion, expert knowledge on what are the various tax laws and other laws which are applicable to the business one is proposing to do, and what are the various compliances one has to be prepared for in terms of record maintenance, in terms of returns to be filed, in terms of registrations to be done, everything, right? So a blueprint or a white paper on statutory compliances is first thing which an entrepreneur should insist to be prepared. Who will do that? If the finance person or the accounts person is capable, fine. Otherwise, access the experts. It can be your auditor, it can be any other consultant or a tax expert or factories expert or whatever it is. But take it in writing, prepare a white paper on what are the various things applicable. Second step is how finance or accounts department is going to handle these compliances. Sometimes HR department may involve in terms of PF, ESI and things like that. Ask for a standard operating procedure from the respective departments. Make sure a clear instructions are properly written down as to who will do what in complying with the various statutory requirements. How these statutory requirements are going to be inbuilt into the regular business process of the company. It can be purchase oriented, it can be sales oriented, handling expenditure oriented, or manpower oriented. It can be anything. Everywhere today, involvement of some act or other is there. So the entrepreneur has to be aware of all these enactments and what is to be done to comply with this and who will do these compliances. So when it comes to who will do compliances, you always have two choices. One is managing it in-house and outsourcing it is the second option. Again, take a diligent step towards it. If you have to manage everything in-house, then you have to create that expert knowledge inside in your team, whether it is finance department or your HR department, and they should be equipped with current knowledge and respective software tools which are required to comply with these compliances. On the other hand, you can always decide to outsource these compliances to various experts or business process outsourcing companies or consultants whatsoever. But be very clear again what you are outsourcing, the engagement letter, scope of work, role play, what activity will be done by the company, what activity will be done by the outsourced agency. That clarity should be there. Whatever method you follow, the most important aspect is calendar of compliances. That is something which an entrepreneur should be aware and should have in his purview. Every law comes with certain dates for compliances, whether it is filing the information or paying certain fees or paying certain taxes or maintaining certain records within certain dates and everything. All these things, the entrepreneur should be aware of the various calendar dates, because this is all repetitive. You should be clear. And the finance department or the HR department, as the case may be, should, as a part of their MIS and management reporting, should give a statutory compliance tracker report every month as to what is to be done, whether it is done properly, who has prepared it, who has verified it, who has validated it. That maker checker also should be there. And most importantly, constant questioning of the latest amendments to the various laws also have to be tracked. Now, in a country like India, where there's so much importance given to statutory compliances, there is a cost for complying with these statutory aspects. Please understand, the cost of compliance is very, very limited. The cost of non-compliance is multifold than cost of compliance. Please underline this sentence. If you ignore to comply with certain provisions, you will be expending multifold in later when you are charged of such non-compliance by the respective government department. So it's important, take the pains, take the steps, spend the necessary money to comply with these requirements, so that you are able to focus on your business rather than going behind the various government departments, spending your valuable time. Several times, we come across wonderful entrepreneurs, just because they have not handled statutory compliances, they end up in certain litigations, tax litigations, and significant part of their time go behind these government departments, and the business will lose focus and business will ultimately go down. Don't allow these things to happen. It has to be complied with for sure. It's a policy decision to be taken, necessary infrastructure to be created, necessary expertise to be created or outsourced, and it should be done in a meticulous manner. And top priority should be given to statutory compliance in any transaction, any contract, any discussion, MRM, any review. This should be given topmost priority, so that everybody in the organization is well aware of the importance the entrepreneur is giving for compliances. Yeah, well managed company grows well. If the growth is expected to be sustainable growth, statutory compliances is very, very important. Even though there will be business growth, because of statutory non-compliance, there are several cases where the businesses had to be closed down totally. So never get into such modes. Please understand, this is one important milestone and step in doing business in India, and don't ignore it and give as much importance to it. Right? So with this, we come to the conclusion of this episode on statutory compliances. For each and every detailed discussion, you can take the expert advice and go by that. I just spoke about the approach towards the compliances. Right? So till we meet in the next episode, goodbye and wish you all the best.